Best photos of cylindrical UFO taken by NASA, US Navy, and Italian Air Force. Is this encounter with the same object? Or perhaps same objects? The new intel on the UFOs by US government is out. They identified 144 cases where the intelligence finds it hard to determine the nature of the objects. However, the report mentioned no extraterrestrial link to these objects. Whether or not we still have a lot of disclosure ahead with shocking details, the unidentified objects seen in the sky are of various shapes: triangular, saucer, dome, but the most peculiar one is a cylindrical or a cigar shape, pillbox shape, tic-tac type of a shape. The US Navy in 1971. The cigar-shaped craft is important because it has special space in the government files. In March 1971, the crew of the USS Trepang, SSN 674 submarine took stunning UFO photographs, including triangular and cigar-shaped, and they were coming out of and going into the ocean. So it could be that these UFOs are, of course, hidden in our oceans. That's what a lot of UFO researchers are claiming. These images were leaked according to the Black Vault, and the U.S. Navy archives say that Rear Admiral Dean Reynolds, Sackett Jr. from Beatrice, Nebraska, had been the commanding officer of the USS Trepang submarine from August 1970 to December 1973. These images were first published by the French paranormal magazine called Top Secret and were investigated by a paranormal investigator, the author named Alex Mistretta. According to him, the UFO images were top secret and somehow got leaked. Concetti UFO incident. Another best shot of the cigar-shaped UFO was taken by Italian Air Force senior warrant officer Giancarlo Concetti on June 18, 1979. At around 11:30 a.m., he was turning to Treviso Istrana Air Base, Italy, after completing a photo reconnaissance mission when he received a signal from the control tower of the San Angelo military airfield about the unidentified flying object that was flying low. And it is pretty low. That's a very, very beautiful image of it. And the airfield is below, as we can see. Now, the intruder was detected by the Istrana Radar Center. Ciccone was flying Fiat G91 bomber with 3 cameras, 2 on the cockpit side and the other mounted at the top. He received information from the Istrana field about the UFO that was behaving strangely and flying right above the Italian town of Quinto in Treviso province. Ciccone, with empty camera's reel, followed the object, passing it at a distance of only about 80 meters, that's 240 feet, and taking the photos. Further, he approached the object closer and observed its detail perfectly. Surprisingly, the pilot took about 80 photos of the object, describing it as 8 meters tall, 3 meters wide. The airport ground staff watched the whole incident through binoculars and warned Ciccone about a strange azure bluish trail emitted by the object. He tried to approach the object but one last time, but it vanished from sight as though dematerialized. The Gemini 4 UFO. The next great account of the cylindrical object was observed by a NASA astronaut during the Gemini 4 mission. In 1965, astronaut James McDivitt and Ed White made history by circling Earth 66 times in 4 days. It was NASA's second manned mission designed to show that it was possible for humans to remain in space for extended lengths of time. Besides, during the mission, the astronaut Ed White performed the first spacewalk for 20 minutes, making him the first American to ever do so. During the Gemini 4 mission, astronauts carried out numerous space experiments, allowing NASA to prepare for the lunar landing in 1969, but the mission became famous rather for a different reason. Many UFO experts were stunned after seeing the UFO image taken by astronaut James McDivitt in low Earth orbit. They called it one of the best UFO photos ever taken. Obviously, NASA remains skeptical about the image, Even the space agency insisted that there was nothing peculiar in the image. It could be a terrestrial object, either the Americans or Soviets. At the same time, other skeptics suggested that it might have been McDivitt's booster rocket. And this is the image of Gemini 4 UFO, as you can see. Astronaut McDivitt had never acknowledged the object in the photograph to be extraterrestrial, which is not surprising. His words on the subject are, as reported in Fate magazine, June 1974, "I was flying with Ed White. He was sleeping at the time, so I don't have anybody to verify my story. We were drifting in space with the control engine shut down and all the instrumentation off when suddenly an object appeared in the window. It had a very definite shape, a cylindrical object. It was white. It had a long arm that stuck out on one side. I don't know whether it was a very small object up close or a very large object a long ways away." These three accounts of cylindrical or cigar-shaped UFOs that occurred in the 1960s and 70s should have baffled researchers on their origin. What if NASA, the US Navy, and the Italian Air Force encountered the same object? One may wonder why someone would build an advanced flying object in a cylindrical shape, as it's not the best aerodynamic shape. We have cylindrical shaped rockets, but to satisfy aerodynamic needs, they have pointy noses. But these objects are purely cylindrical in nature without any pointy edges. And this is by House and Wise Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.